Now on News 3 New Mexico, learn about the fire that burned 200 acres south of Dora.
Snow is returning to eastern New Mexico. Find out more in my full weather forecast.
And a proposed BNSF railway is underway, putting a bridge across West Texas and eastern New Mexico. News 3 New Mexico starts right now.
This is News 3 New Mexico, your local source for news, sports, and first weather.
Good evening and welcome to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Emily Wilbanks.
And I'm Andres Chavez. Thank you so much for watching.
The last few days have seen dangerous winds in many parts of New Mexico. That's the sound of high winds accompanied by a dust storm between Clovis and Portales. The possibility of official max wind gusts exit through today and potentially longer in much of New Mexico, including eastern and southeastern New Mexico. Gusts in some parts of the state have been as high as 60 miles per hour, making travel potentially dangerous. Although any part of the state may receive the high winds, the National Weather Service says southwest New Mexico is the most likely place for high winds, and a travel advisory has been issued for strong winds and blowing dust, especially in the area near Deming.
Yeah, guys, well, the wind's very strong. It made it really cold this morning, though.
Yeah, I see that we're getting some precipitation tomorrow, though.
Yeah, we're starting to get some snow tonight even. But as we see right now, as we're going over through the western part of the United States through Arizona, we're actually seeing kind of this arc of rain that's going to slowly start coming all the way up over to New York and Toronto, Canada, where they're even starting to see some snow. And for the northwestern part of the country up here in Portland, we're seeing some rain and some snow mixed in up into Idaho. As we take a look at New Mexico, we have a winter weather advisory in Catrona and Socorro that's going to be this purple area right here. That's going to be until Thursday at around 10 a.m. But we're going to see a chance of rain, which is actually going to be a chance of snow going on through Wednesday evening and up into Thursday morning till around 11 a.m., where we're going to start to see a small chance of snow and rain throughout the rest of the day as we start to head slowly into Friday. And as you see right there, it's going to start to slowly die off towards the afternoon. But taking a look at our wind speeds, we've got those winds are going to start to slowly pick up as we start to enter Thursday and into Friday. But I'll have more on this in my full weather forecast. Back to you.
Thank you, Jonathan. A community is in shock after a near-fatal stabbing occurring on Sunday in Roswell. The suspect, Juan Lares Vasquez, allegedly stabbed the 50-year-old victim in the neck following an argument inside a Roswell home. The victim ran out to the backyard where he was aided by another man who called 911. The caller stated that the man's throat was slit. The victim is currently at the Eastern New Mexico Medical Center and remains in serious condition. Following the arrival of Roswell police, Lares Vasquez was arrested for aggravated battery and was taken into custody under pending criminal charges.
Monday this week, the Roosevelt County Road Department, Dora, Causey, Arch, Elida, Mill and Sand, and Portales firefighters rushed to the scene after pasture land caught fire in the south of Dora. The fire happened shortly after a fire watch warning was issued for Roosevelt, DeBaca, Curry, and Chavez County. The fire was fully contained by firefighters, but not before it burned over 200 acres of land. Luckily, no people, animals, or buildings were harmed during the fire. A grass fire reportedly also took place on the same day at St. Bernard Farms corn maze and pumpkin patch in Clovis. Some property, including fences and go-karts, were damaged. Fortunately, no injuries were resulted from the fire. There's nothing more exciting than rooting for your favorite basketball teams at home. But if you're up for a day trip, you might find the Lone Star Conference Basketball Championship just as exciting. The men's and women's basketball quarterfinals and championships will take place between March 2nd and 5th in the Commercia Center at 2601 Avenue of the Stars in Frisco, Texas. Passes cost $18 for adults and $12 for students, with each pass being redeemable to view 2 tournament games. If you would like to get tickets, you can order them online from Ticketmaster or purchase them when you arrive at the Commercia Center box office.
Let music carry you to new places by attending KENW's Once Upon a Mattress musical performance. The show is an energetic, jazz-influenced retelling of The Princess and the Pea fairy tale. It boasts plenty of family-friendly humor and some incredible dance performances. The show will be performed 2 times starting on Friday, March 1st and ending on Saturday, March 2nd. Both performances will take place at 7 p.m. in the Buchanan Hall of Eastern New Mexico University's Music Building. Tickets can be purchased for $7 at the door and available online at www.enmu.edu/operative. An annual bipartisan survey on conservation in western states released last week, finding an increase in voter concerns over climate issues from land and water use to wildlife populations and wildfires.
The concern was even larger in New Mexico, pitting wildlife conservation against the oil and gas industry. Public News Service reporter Roz Browns has more.
Wildlife advocates say there's been a shift in public opinion about the value of wildlife over the past few decades, with people supporting protections over exploitation. And they want to make 2024 another turning point. Lindsay Laris with New Mexico-based Wild Earth Guardians says historically wildlife management was rooted in permitting wildlife to exist as long as it didn't interfere with human interests. In New Mexico, it's even more complicated, she says, when the needs of wildlife are pitted against the state's billion-dollar fossil fuel industry. But she believes attitudes are changing.
Toward wildlife that should be valued for its inherent purpose and its inherent value, and away from wildlife should only exist to fulfill human ends. What we need to do is to have a system or systems of wildlife management that really represent that shift in public values.
An annual bipartisan survey on conservation in western states released last week found an increase in voter concerns over climate issues, from land and water use to wildlife populations and wildfires. The Land of Enchantment is the nation's second largest oil producer and a top 10 natural gas producer. Guardians has repeatedly tried to hold their feet to the fire and comply with state regulations as well as the Clean Air Act. I'm Roz Brown reporting.
Wild Earth Guardians noted fewer than 200,000 people are employed by the oil and gas industry, while 335 million people in the U.S. expect to breathe clean air and drink clean water, despite the state of New Mexico counts on the petroleum industry for a large percentage of its budget. The last 2 years have seen record proceeds from the oil and gas taxes to use on all kinds of state programs and needs, from education to infrastructure.
That's the BNSF train passing through the busy railroad crossing on the New Mexico-Texas state line between Texaco and Farwell. Plans are moving forward on a proposed project to build a bridge in the cities of Texaco in eastern New Mexico and Farwell, Texas. After 2 public meetings, engineers and contractors now have a better understanding of community needs as a part of project to build a bridge structure over the existing BNSF railroad crossing at the Texas-New Mexico state line. In 2 separate public meetings, residents of the 2 cities had the opportunity to express their concerns. Information presented at the meetings included proposed plans for improving mobility and access at the railroad crossings located between the cities of Farwell and Texaco. Public comments can be submitted until Friday, March 8th.
AT&T says the hours-long outage to its U.S. cell phone network in parts of eastern and southeastern New Mexico appeared to be the result of a technical error, not a malicious attack. That's according to an article in the Hobbs News Sun. The outage knocked out cell phone service for tens of thousands of its users last week before it was restored. AT&T blamed the incident on an error in coding without elaborating. A press release from the Dallas-based company says initial review shows the outage was caused by the application and execution of an incorrect process used while expanding the network, not a cyber attack. The Federal Communications Commission contacted AT&T about the outage, and the Department of Homeland Security and FBI were also looking into it. Coming up after the break, Jonathan will have more weather for you.
But first, here's a look at today's financial market.
another look at that weather, shall we? So you see, we're starting to see some rain that's piling up. That's going to form this kind of arc from the southern United States. It's going to pile up all the way through the northeast. It's going to pile up into New York, and we're even starting to see some snow in New York and Toronto, Canada as well. Taking a look at the western United States, we're going to see some rain and snow piling up through the north over here in Portland and all the way over here in Ohio. Sorry, Ohio's over here. Idaho, there we go. Sorry about that. And as you see, as we take a look at New Mexico, we're going to see some rain that's over here. It's going to be mostly in the southern part of the state, and it's going to start to pile up in through the evening. As you take a look at eastern New Mexico, we're going to start to continue to see that rain that's starting to slowly come up through there. We do have a winter weather advisory for Catrone and Socorro until Thursday at 10 a.m. And that's going to we're going to see some snow throughout most of the state, but we're going to take a look at those wind speeds. And we're going to see those, we're mostly in 10 miles per hour throughout most of the eastern New Mexico, but as we take a look at the southwest, we're seeing a lot of 20 to even 30 and even some 40 miles per hour winds in this kind of pinkish area right here. And as we slowly start to pass into Thursday, we're going to see some 10 mile per hour to 20 mile per hour winds throughout most of the state actually, and those 20 mile per hour winds are going to be mostly over here in like the central part. As we pass over into Friday, we're going to start to see some 20, 30, and even some 40 mile per hour winds as it starts to pick up into Friday afternoon and take over most of the state with that kind of wind. Now we're having a chance of rain, which is actually a chance of snow. That's going to be very likely as we pass into this evening around 5 a.m. and into the morning of Thursday. And we're going to have for the rest of the day and into Friday, we're going to have a small chance of rain and snow, but that's going to keep going us forward into the weekend. Taking a look at our current temperatures, we've got 51 up here in Farmington and 50 in Gallup. We've got 56 in Las Cruces with 55 in Alamogordo. In the central part of New Mexico, we got 58 in Albuquerque and 54 in Santa Fe. We've got 43 in Raton and Clayton for the northeast. And for the southeast, we've got 48 in Carlsbad and 45 in Hobbs. We've got 43 in Portales and 42 in Clovis. And for West Texas, we've got 46 in Amarillo and 43 in Lubbock. Taking a look at tonight's lows, we've got 28 in both Farmington and Gallup, with 39 in Las Cruces and Alamogordo for the southwest. Albuquerque seeing a nice 36 with Santa Fe at 31. Raton is seeing 27 with 38 in Clayton. We've got 42 in Carlsbad and 37 at Hobbs. And for eastern New Mexico and West Texas, we've got 36 for Tucumcari, 37 for Portales, and then 35 and 36 for Amarillo and Lubbock. Tomorrow's highs, we're seeing 59 for both Farmington and Gallup, and we're seeing 59 throughout most of the state, actually, with Albuquerque and Santa Fe, and Truth or Consequences as well. And we're seeing 56 up here in Clayton with 61 in Carlsbad. And for eastern New Mexico, we're seeing 50 in Clovis and 53 in Portales, and West Texas is seeing 46 and 51. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast for Roswell, we'll have some colder temperatures tomorrow. We're going to see some 70s throughout most of the week as we start to end into the midweek. And then Carlsbad is going to see much of the same, some colder temperatures with some high temperatures in the high 70s with some wind on Sunday. And for Portales, we're going to see some rain and snow tomorrow with an 88% chance on Thursday, wind on Friday and Sunday, and we're heading into the high 60s for the rest of the week.
Well, I'm hoping some of that precipitation can give the fires some relief that we're seeing.
Yeah, hopefully that colder temperatures and that rain, snow will start to slowly kick in.
It's going to affect a lot of parts over here in eastern New Mexico, and hopefully it does as well in West Texas. Unfortunately, that is all the news we have for you right now. We'll be back with more after the break.
Welcome back. Between persistent fire watch warnings, 2 wildfires in Roosevelt County alone this week, and with the disastrous fire taking the panhandle, it might seem like fire is inevitable. Rest assured, there are steps you can take to avoid causing a wildfire while temperatures remain hot and dry. Most wildfires are caused by just one careless action, so it's important to pay attention. Extinguish outdoor fires properly and completely. Don't let hot cigarettes or their ashes fall on dry, flammable ground. And consider installing a spark arrestor or any engine-run machine used on dry ground. Plenty of rain will come with the arrival of June and July. Until then, taking steps to prevent wildfires is the best way for you to protect your community.
When the Women's Medical Center in Clovis closed in 2022, it was a major blow to the community. Unfortunately, it remains as difficult as ever to attract physicians to Roosevelt and Curry County. The Healthcare Delivery and Access Act legislation, which was recently passed by lawmakers and now waits for the signature of Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, addressing this issue by pushing funding into New Mexico rural hospitals. If the legislation is signed into law, the surge of funding could lead to improved staffing and upgraded equipment at hospitals and clinics throughout the state. 75% of the funds paid will be reinvested into healthcare services in New Mexico.
Eastern New Mexico's latest theatrical performance is arriving this Thursday, and you're invited to see it.
Here's what you need to know before the premiere of Native Gardens.
Portales may not have a movie theater, but there is a place where you can enjoy hysterical comedies and heart-wrenching dramas, and everyone is welcome to go.
We always welcome our Portales community to our shows, and this year particularly, we made sure that our shows were like general appeal, nothing that was too controversial, and certainly nothing with language, profanity, because we wanted to make sure that people felt welcome here. So we started off with a very emotional play, The Clean House, and then we did a musical, Bunyakilla, and now we're doing this Native Gardens, and then we'll end with a comedy.
And while Eastern New Mexico University's upcoming comedy, titled Dearly Departed, hasn't premiered yet, you can look forward to the equally hilarious and dramatic spin on neighborly drama in Native Gardens.
This show, which is Native Gardens by Karen Zacharias, it's a comedy. And the set is actually designed by Joe Thompson. So that is wonderful. The set is really beautiful.
So, consider giving the theater a try. There's plenty of reasons that Native Gardens is worth seeing.
Entertainment and comic relief, and to see the beautiful set that has been designed and the wonderful acting.
Beyond Native Gardens, the theater department will have performances for years to come. If you want to see stories come to life on stage, getting started is as simple as grabbing a few tickets.
If you're interested in seeing Native Gardens, you can catch it at ENMU University's Theater Center on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday at 7 p.m. or on Sunday at 2 p.m.
Tickets cost $10 for adults and $7 for senior citizens. They can be purchased at the door or online at www.enmu.edu/theaterlive. If serving the community and bringing lasting change to those in need is a mission that resonates with you, it might be time to join the Clovis Evening Lions Club. Their upcoming gun show, which will take place at the Curry County Event Center between March 8th and 10th next week, isn't the only thing the Lions have to offer. Food drives, parade floats, vision checks, and other acts of community service and celebration are all things you have to look forward to. If you're roaring to get started, you can fill out an application to join at www.lionsclub.com/E/N to join. With the Lions, you won't just find a community, you can also help support one.
An Arizona State University student from Clovis has been awarded a national scholarship for her public service. Mary Sullivan received the Passion for Public Service Scholarship from the National Society of High School Scholars, a national scholarship organization committed to advancing high-achieving students and educators. Mary is currently a student of public service policy with a concentration in criminology at Arizona State University. She says she envisions a world where preventative strategies are an important part of stopping crimes from happening rather than having to punish those who commit them. She adds that public servants are a big part of everyday communities, including her community in eastern New Mexico. If you've ever wanted to put your dodgeball skills to the test, the Clovis Dodgeball Tournament provides the perfect opportunity. It will take place this weekend on March 2nd and March 3rd at the Curry County Event Center. There's an entry fee per team, $50 per team of children ages 6 to 11, $125 per team of teenagers aged 12 to 16, and $250 per team of adults 17 and up. The winning teams, however, have the opportunity to walk away with cash or gift card prizes. Tomorrow is the last day that you can sign up, so if you're interested in reading more about the tournament rules and registering your team, you can go to the Clovis Chamber website to sign up. Coming up after the break, Jaden will have his full report for you.
Back, sports fans. I'm Jaden Phillips. Let's get into this week's sports. Hounds basketball had 2 games this past week, and the Hounds won both games. The first was against Oklahoma Christian in a monster win with a score of 110-79. Then a win versus UAFS with a score of 92-85. They have 2 more regular season games. The first is tomorrow night, which is senior night, at Greyhound Arena versus Western New Mexico. Then at Western New Mexico on March 2nd at 2 p.m. The Lady Hounds also played Oklahoma Christian and UAF, with the Lady Hounds lost to Oklahoma Christian with a score of 58-59 and a win over UAFS 56-54. The next game is senior night at Greyhound Arena versus Western New Mexico, and then on the road versus Western New Mexico on March 2nd to close out the year. The boys and girls games senior night will each be $5 tickets to get in. You can also listen to the game on 105.9 KSL Country. ENM Baseball just wrapped up a 4-game series versus St. Edwards, and the Hounds split the 4-game series. With that, the Hounds host number 8 West Texas A&M in a 4-game series. The Hounds have a 7-9 record heading into this week's matchup. The Hounds hope to get above 500. We will have scores and updates next week. ENM softball is off to a great start this year, as they have a 14-5 record and is 4-1 at home. They just swept a 3-game series against St. Edwards and are in a 3-game series versus Lubbock Christian. And after last night's walk-off home run, they took the game 1 in the series, as game 2 just wrapped up and the Lady Hounds lost 7-11. Game 3 is later tonight. Let's see if they could win the series, keep their winning record at home and keep their winning streak. We'll have updates and highlights next week. The Portales Rams are ranked 10th in the Class 4A state rankings. They finished the regular season with a 16-11 record, as they get ready to play Lovington in their district tournament game at Lovington tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And the Lady Rams finished their regular season with a 19-7 record, as they get ready to also play Lovington tomorrow night at Rams Arena at 6 p.m. We'll have scores and highlights Friday. Well, sports fans, that's all I have for you today. But I'll have more sports next week. We'll be back at the desk after the break.
Unfortunately, that's all the news we have for right now.
Thank you so much for watching News 3 New Mexico. Have a good rest of your evening.